Imagine a world where the sky turns a sickly shade of orange. The air is thick with smoke that clings to your lungs like an unwelcome guest, and the ground beneath you trembles as if nature itself is holding its breath. This isn't just the opening scene of a sci-fi movie. It's a real possibility experts are now warning us about. Specifically, the year 2026. Scientists around the globe have been sounding alarms for years, but the message is finally getting louder and more urgent. What they're talking about isn't some far-fetched disaster from a Hollywood script. It's a potential catastrophe that could rival any event in human history. The introduction to this video might feel like something out of a thriller, but it's not fiction. The visuals you see now, those haunting images of cities shrouded in darkness, the eerie silence before an earthquake, and the chaos of a tsunami hitting land, are not just for show. They're based on real scientific models and data that have been studied extensively by climatologists, geophysicists, and environmental scientists. These experts are not just throwing out wild guesses. They're analyzing patterns, studying historical records, and using advanced technology to predict what could be the worst disaster in 300 years. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just a single event or a localized problem. It's a global threat that could affect every corner of the world in different ways. Think about it. Climate change, rising sea levels, extreme weather patterns, and tectonic shifts are all interconnected pieces of a puzzle that scientists are trying to piece together. What seems like an isolated issue in one region can have ripple effects across continents, making this threat more complex than you might expect. And let's not forget the human element. While nature has its own way of causing chaos, humans are also playing a major role in creating conditions that could lead to such disasters. From deforestation and pollution to climate change itself, our actions have set the stage for some of these events. But here's the thing, we don't have to be passive observers. Understanding what's coming and how it might unfold is the first step toward preparing for it. This video is not just about warning you. It's about empowering you with knowledge so you can make informed decisions. So, as we dive deeper into this chapter, we're going to explore the science behind these predictions, the history of past disasters that serve as warnings, and the steps being taken or ignored to prevent the worst-case scenario. It might be a bit unsettling, but it's also an opportunity to learn something truly eye-opening about our planet and ourselves. Let's take a journey back in time to when the world was still figuring out how to handle disasters, and nature had no mercy. The Great Lisbon Earthquake of 1755 is one such event that shook not just the ground beneath Portugal but also the foundations of human understanding. Imagine waking up on All Saints' Day, December 1st, 1755, only to feel the earth split open like a rotten apple, sending buildings crashing down and people screaming into the void. It wasn't just an earthquake. It was a cataclysm that claimed over 30,000 lives and left Lisbon in ruins, with waves of water destroying what little remained. This event sparked debates about science, religion, and human vulnerability, and it turned out to be more than just a natural disaster. It was a wake-up call for the world. Fast forward a few centuries, and we find ourselves at another pivotal moment. The Chernobyl disaster in 1986. This wasn't nature's hand at work, but a human-made catastrophe that had profound and lasting consequences. Picture this. A nuclear reactor in Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union, explodes during a safety test gone wrong, sending a plume of radioactive clouds across Europe. The immediate death toll was relatively low, but the long-term effects were staggering. Thousands of people were exposed to radiation, entire towns were evacuated, and the area around Chernobyl became an eerie, uninhabitable zone known as the exclusion zone. What's interesting is that this disaster taught us a lot about the dangers of nuclear energy and the importance of transparency in science. It wasn't just about what happened. It was about how we responded to it. Now, let's connect these dots. Both events, Lisbon in 1755 and Chernobyl in 1986, are not just isolated disasters but milestones that shaped the way humanity deals with crises today. The Lisbon earthquake led to a re-evaluation of seismic activity and the development of early warning systems, while Chernobyl prompted stricter regulations on nuclear power plants and increased global awareness of environmental hazards. These events remind us that history is not just a record of what happened but a guide for how we can prepare for the future. If we ignore these lessons, are we doomed to repeat them? The answer might be written in the headlines of today. So, why bring up these historical disasters now? Because they're not just relics of the past. They're cautionary tales that mirror the challenges we face today. Climate change is accelerating, technology is advancing at breakneck speed, and global interconnectivity means that a disaster in one part of the world can have repercussions everywhere. The parallels are striking. Just as Lisbon's earthquake was a reminder of nature's unpredictability, Today's climate crises are an alarm bell for our planet's future. And just like Chernobyl exposed the dangers of human error and hubris with nuclear technology, today's reliance on digital systems and AI carries its own set of risks. These historical lessons are not just about what happened before, they're about how we can avoid repeating them. But let's not get too gloomy. History also shows us that humanity has the capacity to adapt, innovate, and learn from its mistakes. The Lisbon earthquake led to advancements in seismology and urban planning, while Chernobyl became a symbol of both human failure and resilience. It's a reminder that even in the face of catastrophe, there is hope, if we listen to the lessons of the past and apply them with wisdom and urgency. So next time you hear about a disaster in the news, remember, history isn't just about tragedies. It's also about progress, survival, and the possibility of doing better. Imagine a world where the weather isn't just unpredictable but actively out to get you. That's not a scene from a sci-fi movie. It's our reality, thanks to climate change. It's like having a slow-moving, invisible monster that's steadily eating away at our planet's health. And it's getting more aggressive by the day. Unlike a hurricane or a wildfire, which can be seen and sometimes even anticipated, climate change is sneaky. It doesn't announce itself with thunderclaps or fiery destruction. Instead, it quietly raises the temperature, melts glaciers, and makes the air feel like a sauna during an ordinary Tuesday. One of the most alarming things about climate change is its ability to turn routine weather into chaos. Droughts that used to be rare are now common, turning once fertile lands into cracked deserts where crops wither and rivers dry up. Meanwhile, hurricanes are getting stronger and more frequent, like a wild beast that's been fed steroids and given a bigger appetite. These storms don't just destroy buildings. They swallow entire communities whole, leaving behind not just rubble, but also a trail of despair and displacement. And let's not forget about the rising seas, a slow, relentless threat that's already affecting coastal cities around the world. Imagine your favorite beach turning into an underwater graveyard, or your home being swallowed by the ocean like it's the final act of a tragic movie. The sea levels are creeping up faster than you can say, climate emergency. And it's not just a distant problem. It's happening now, right under our noses. In some places, people are already having to relocate because their homes are no longer safe from flooding. But here's the real kicker. Climate change isn't just an environmental issue. It's a social and economic crisis in disguise. When extreme weather events strike, they hit the poorest and most vulnerable communities hardest. Imagine a farmer watching his crops wither away while he can't afford to buy new seeds or relocate. Or think about a family trying to survive a wildfire that forces them to flee their homes with nothing but the clothes on their backs. These aren't just disasters, they're human tragedies made worse by climate change. Experts are sounding alarms, not because they want to scare us, but because they're desperate to make us understand the urgency of the situation. They're telling us that we're on the brink of a disaster so severe it could rival the worst events in human history. But unlike past catastrophes, this one is man-made and preventable if we act fast enough. The clock is ticking, and every day we delay action, we risk making things worse for future generations. Imagine standing on a beach, feeling the gentle rhythm of waves lapping at your feet, when suddenly, without warning, the ocean retreats, pulling back like it's being sucked into another dimension. This is not a scene from a sci-fi movie. This could be the beginning of a mega tsunami, a colossal wave that can reach heights of over 100 meters and travel at speeds faster than a jet plane. These kinds of tsunamis are rare but devastating, often triggered by underwater earthquakes or volcanic eruptions, leaving behind destruction that can rival the mightiest of human wars. Now picture a volcano, not just any volcano, but one so massive it could reshape entire continents. A supervolcanic eruption is like Earth's own superweapon, a cataclysmic event capable of spewing out more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of ash and debris into the atmosphere. The last such eruption was at Yellowstone about 640,000 years ago, but scientists believe it could happen again, with consequences that could make global warming look like a minor inconvenience. Imagine skies darkened by ash for months, crops failing, and temperatures dropping so drastically that it feels like winter in July. Then there's the ultimate cosmic threat, an asteroid impact. These space rocks, sometimes larger than cities, can strike Earth with the force of millions of nuclear bombs. The most famous example is the Chicxulub crater in Mexico, which scientists believe was caused by an asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Today, we have better technology to detect these threats, but even so, a near-Earth object large enough to cause global devastation could still slip through our radar system, leaving us with only days, maybe hours, to prepare. What makes these disasters particularly terrifying is their unpredictability. Unlike hurricanes or wildfires, which often give nature some warning, mega tsunamis, supervolcanic eruptions, and asteroid impacts can strike with little to no notice. This means that when they do happen, communities around the world could be caught completely unprepared, leading to catastrophic loss of life and infrastructure. In a way, these events are like Earth's own version of a surprise exam, only this one is far more deadly. But here's the thing. While these disasters may sound like the stuff of nightmares, they're not entirely out of our control. Advances in science and technology have given us tools to monitor seismic activity, track asteroids, and even predict volcanic eruptions with some accuracy. The challenge lies in how we respond, whether we take these threats seriously and invest in early warning systems, disaster preparedness, and global cooperation. After all, the Earth has survived countless natural disasters throughout its history, but it's our ability to adapt that will determine whether we survive this one too. Imagine a world where the very tools we rely on to make life easier become the instruments of our undoing. That's not just a sci-fi nightmare. It's a real possibility in our modern age, and it starts with something as simple as a power plant going haywire. Nuclear meltdowns are like nature's version of a game of Russian roulette. You never know when the trigger will be pulled. These disasters aren't just about radiation leaks or explosions. They're about systems that were built to handle unimaginable pressure but somehow still fail in ways we can't predict. It's as if the machines have their own agenda, and they're not exactly friendly. Then there's the cyber attack angle, which is like a digital version of a bank heist. But instead of robbers with masks, you've got hackers in dark rooms typing away on keyboards. These attacks don't just steal money or data. They can cripple entire nations by taking down power grids, hospitals, and even our ability to communicate. You might think your phone is safe, but the truth is, every time you tap a screen, you're playing with fire. And if that fire spreads to critical infrastructure, you could be looking at a scenario where lights go out, traffic signals fail, and everything from food supply chains to emergency services come crashing down. But here's the twist. AI isn't just about robots taking over. It's about systems we create that start making decisions on their own. Picture this. An autonomous drone delivering medicine in a remote village, only for it to misinterpret a command and crash into a building instead of landing safely. Or worse, imagine an algorithm designed to optimize traffic flow suddenly deciding the best route is through a school zone during rush hour. These aren't just glitches. They're moments where our trust in technology goes too far, and we're left scrambling to fix something that didn't even mean to break. The real danger comes from how interconnected everything has become. A single point of failure, whether it's a software bug, a hardware flaw, or a human error, can snowball into an event so large-scale it feels like the end of the world. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the fragile web of dependencies we've built around it. If one link in that chain snaps, everything else can fall apart faster than you can say code is broken. And with the pace of technological advancement only accelerating, the stakes are higher than ever. So what's the solution? It starts with awareness, recognizing that technology isn't inherently good or bad, but it's a tool that needs to be handled responsibly. We need better safeguards, smarter regulations, and more transparency in how these systems operate. But even with all that, we can't ignore the reality. No system is completely foolproof. The key is to stay vigilant, keep asking questions, and remember that while technology has brought us amazing advancements, it also comes with a price tag that's far too high to ignore.